Jesus, the real widow. There are too many twos in the readings of today to be a coincidence. Two widows, two coins, two jars, the flour and the oil, and two prophets, Elijah and Jesus. What is the central point of the story from Elijah, the widow of Zarephath? When everything reaches rock bottom, God does the impossible. When everything reaches rock bottom, God intervenes and does the impossible. There was no rain, no crops. Everything was looking very depressing. Death was staring in the faces of people. The widow and her son symbolize the people of Israel and their situation. The prophet Elijah symbolizes God and his word, his life-giving word, his powerful word. The jar of flour shall not be spent, the jar of oil shall not be empty. Everything happened as it was spoken by God. God makes the impossible possible. What is the central point of the story from the Gospel? The widow and her two coins. The reading begins by describing the lifestyle of the scribes. People seeking glory, honor, praise, the first places. People who were hypocrites. Their outside show of life does not match their inner disposition. They are powerful people. In contrast, the widow's lifestyle, humble, weak, insignificant, powerless. The scribes were wealthy. The widow was poor. The scribes contributed from their surplus. The widow contributed from her all. The scribes gave a pittance compared to their real wealth, maybe between 1% to 3% of their income. The widow gave everything, 100% of what she had. The scribes trusted in their wealth and in themselves. The widow put her total trust in God and God alone. Her generosity and total dependence on God's providence is praised by Jesus and is unmatched. When we look at these two widows, when we put them together, what is the message coming across to us? 1. When everything seems lost and gone, God intervenes and makes the impossible possible. 2. True wealth is not measured by my clothes or my house or my car or my fixed deposits, but by the largeness and generosity of one's heart. The scribes displayed their poverty in their property and prosperity. The widow displayed her property and prosperity in her poverty. Both these widows meet in the person of Jesus. Jesus is the real widow. Like the widow of the Gospel, he gave himself totally and completely for humankind, not keeping anything for himself. A complete, total self-offering to the Father, giving everything he had for the sake of humankind. Like the widow of Zarephath, he ensures that the jar of flour, the bread, the Eucharist, and the jar of oil, healing, anointing, will never be spent. Every day we will have bread at the altar and wine to cheer our hearts. We will have bread to eat and oil to heal. The impossible becomes possible.